What's good, guys? Welcome back to another video. We absolutely nailed the one from yesterday. Quite literally, like 20 minutes after I finished recording the video, price started filling in the fair value gap, filled it once, twice, and 3 times, and boom, shot straight to the target. Right now, we have relative equal lows here. So all you want to do is see price sweep into here. You want to see a bullish change in state of delivery, and then boom, retrace your entry here, stop here on the newly formed low, wherever the low may be, right? Price could dip here, price could dip here. I don't know where the low is going to be, right? There's a couple of hours until the New York session. Use your wits about you, and ultimately you just want to see all three timeframes align, right? That's the framework that we're using. Daily chart is bullish, weekly chart is bullish, 1 hourly chart is bullish. So all you want to see is that 5-minute chart, right? Whenever it shifts bullish, after filling in some kind of key level, that is when you should be looking to enter. And once you do enter, take it to R, take it at the previous daily high, and that should give you a very clean setup for today. If you guys remember, the limit kind of entry that I set for you guys yesterday would have been this one right here for 4.5R, and of course we ultimately got the reversal after that point, which is why we went, like, it's a very clear distinction on what we do here, which is intraday trades. We're not talking about swing trading. I'm open to talking about swing trading, but I'm just telling you that these videos are for intraday. Anyways, that puts us up to 60 wins out of the last 73 calls publicly on YouTube, like over the last 70 videos or so since February. That's our win rate. And so that puts us well above 80%. And so to the ones who are new to the channel, just know that I will try to maintain this streak. And so today we're going to talk about Bitcoin and give you guys the update on what is the setup for today. And to kick things off, it is not looking amazing because yesterday's candle was pretty volatile in the sense that you set a low and you set a high without any sort of clear direction. Ultimately, this means one thing, is that today could be an inside bar. It highly depends on whether or not there is news today. And if we take a look at this, we have FOMC meeting minutes. Chances are it's not going to be a very choppy day. And so now brings me on to the second thing, because FOMC tends to be a pretty late news event. You're seeing that kind of play out on the lower timeframes at the moment, where London, like, even though it's been an hour since London started, it's been just chopping around. And this is pretty common on an FOMC day, where Asia and London tends to be the accumulation, and then you get the manipulation sometime during New York morning. And then today, the most volatile move is going to happen during the New York PM session, which also means that since I'm currently in Asia at the moment, I am not going to be able to trade this session, but I will give you my take on what to expect. So going back to the daily chart, the other thing to keep in mind is that you have the down close candle yesterday. Purely based on that, today's daily bias should be towards the downside, targeting the previous daily low. But do not forget that overall, you are still within an uptrend. And so higher time frame trend up, but today could be down. But now that we have our higher time frame kind of like direction, let's head into the lower time frames to see what's going on. So lower time frame, from what we can see as well, is that bullish, like order flow is overall bullish so far. The market structure is also overall bullish in the sense that you formed a higher high here, formed a higher low. And at the moment, this is also considered a higher high. Now, the only concern that I may have with this is the fact that you have now shifted into bearish order flow in terms of the lower timeframes, similar to what we saw here. And ultimately, we knew that this was just a retracement move. And this is very likely also a retracement move because of what I taught you guys earlier with the higher timeframe bias, or rather the higher timeframe trend being overall to the upside. And so now we just need to look for some areas where price may retrace to. Now, this order block here has already been filled during the Asia session just now. And so if price does not bounce from here, then it means that we are going for this liquidity point right here, right? This is just, I'm trying to break it down at the moment because currently we do not have enough price action for me to basically give you a very confident answer, right? There's a difference between recording this video close to 6 a.m. New York and recording this video at 3 a.m. New York. I wish I could do it at the same time every day. But this day, given the fact that FOMC is starting at 2 p.m., I'm going to have to wait pretty long for any sort of price action to play out. And so do pardon this video. It's going to be more about, scenarios thinking and planning ahead. And I'm going to give you guys the scenarios as well as the conditions. And depending on which conditions are met, you guys can just take the trade by yourself. This is how we think as traders, right? So currently, the level that will invalidate this kind of like bearish situation would be a break above this bullish order block right here. Sorry, break above this bearish order block right here on the 1 hourly chart. If you get a 1 hourly candle close above this level right here, you can look for a retrace for price to eventually head higher. And we can further confirm this with the Asia high. Now, ultimately, if you are bullish for the day, for example, if price is going to show a bullish reaction, first of all, breaking above this level would mean that you take out the Asia highs, and then retracing into this level means that you're going to retrace into the Asian range to find support for an ultimate A, B, C situation, in the sense that Asia is accumulation, depending on when the breakout happens, breakout continuation. this will be the bullish scenario, right? So if you get a candle close above that level, it means you're bullish for today and you can start looking for longs. The only issue that I can see with that, potentially, messing up that plan, is the fact that this entirety here is a very shorter block, which means that if you do take a long here, there could be a possibility where price just starts shooting down from this point onwards. Although the conditions are clear, once this is met, it is worth a risk taking a long if you're an intraday trader. Now, personally, just to play it safe, I would not recommend going full risk on this one. Like today's a little bit, more blurry of a day in the sense that yesterday we had a pretty big range and it's kind of tough to tell which direction price is heading towards at the moment. Now we move on to the bearish scenario, which at the moment, purely based off of the daily bias of today's candle and the current price action so far on the 1 hourly chart, it is pointing towards the bearish direction. And so now we just need to look for signs to confirm that we are indeed bearish. And the condition for this is also going to play around the Asian range. This, by the way, is what makes it tough for me to give you a concrete answer at the moment, because we have not yet broken above or below the Asian range. There is nothing for me to kind of determine. And so I just have to go off of, experience and like pattern recognition of seeing this play out, tens, hundreds of times. The setup that you want specifically is for price to continue showing you bearish order flow. For example, this right now is a bullish order block, right? You want to see price break below this, come back up, get rejected, and ultimately you want to see that Asia low get broken. Now, once that happens, if you are still bearish, then you want to look for also an ABC situation on the lower timeframes, in the sense that Asia's accumulation, you get a breakout at some point, and then New York continuation. Now, I've already mentioned the fact that because today we have FOMC that's happening at 2 p.m., it means that the move today is probably going to keep coming later during the day, which means New York morning can be the accumulation. You may see the breakout during the New York morning and then some kind of retrace before the real move, the volatile move, happens at New York afternoon session. Now, again, I will not be there today to trade that, but essentially look for something like this to happen prior. Like, let's say this level right here would be like 1 p.m. or like 12 p.m. And then ultimately you'll get the move towards the downside or to the upside at 2 p.m. or getting close to the FOMC meeting minutes. And currently the low of the day is going to be the bearish target and the high of today is going to be the bearish bullish target, with a TP1 potentially at the order block, but like it's kind of pointless to take profits at the order block. Essentially, you just need to realize that you're within a very big range at the moment. It's tough at the moment because we do not have enough price action to see like in which direction price is going to go, but I'm hopefully briefing you guys on all of the information that you need to know in order to make a educated decision on what to do today. Now, personally, just to go on record, just so we have something to tabulate in terms of the calls, honestly, I don't even know. Like, there's just too little price action at the moment. There's no break of Asia high or Asia low. So now I'm going to say that my call is probably to the downside if I had to put my money somewhere, but this is not the highest probability video that I've made, purely because there is not enough price action, but the conditions are clear. This would be kind of like bullish and this would be bearish, and you guys should know what to do. And this also leads me on to a comment by someone, which is a great question, right? How do you know if the reversal shift is occurring on a 5 minute, not continuing lower? Essentially what you want to look for is order flow. That's my reply to you. And so order flow essentially just means that bullish order blocks are being respected, which means that if you bounce from here and you form a new high, it means that this bullish order block was respected. And so you can say that you are in bullish order flow. If you are in bearish order flow, it means that bearish PDRAs are being disrespected. So for example, you break down here, if you start making a new low, it means that this bearish order block was respected. And so you are in bearish order flow. Order flow tells you way more than what market structure can ever do. In fact, this is like early confirmation before market structure gives you any sort of like, BOS or change of character or whatever. You already know that price is in bullish or bearish mode purely off of the order flow. So that's the answer. And to the rest of you that replied to Lisbon and Barcelona, like, thank you for taking the time to leave those comments. I've been doing a lot more research over the last 24 hours, and I have realized that it gets pretty hot in Lisbon and Barcelona. And being from Asia, like truthfully, I have enough of hot weather. So probably going to just spend a little bit more time in Asia and probably head to Europe closer to the, late summer months. Probably also Lisbon and Barcelona, because I do want to check them out. I'm on a mission currently to find a place where I could, potentially settle down for longer. And it helps to, spend a month or two in many different cities just to see if I could see myself living there. And to the people that are recommending places, like for example, unless you want to experience Lisbon specifically for some reason, At the moment, definitely Lisbon or any, like if you guys have any other cities within Europe that have great weather, not too cold, not a big fan of the cold either. Great weather, great coffee culture, and I don't know, great cities in Europe. Feel free to recommend it as well. But otherwise, to the rest of you, if you would like to see more analyses based on the smart money perspective on crypto, then make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you haven't already, I did a weekly outlook at the beginning of this week, basically looking through 20 charts and giving you guys the 5 or 6 best ones to trade. Some of them are already playing out so far. And if you haven't watched that yet, check it out. You're not too late to take advantage of those opportunities yet. Otherwise, see you in the next one. Bye-bye.